12 Monkeys is one of those movies that feels as though it doesn't really belong within the studio system of where it came out of. You know, it's directed by Gilliam, who was very much an independent director at the time, but it does have some big stars in Brad Pitt, Madeleine Stowe and Bruce Willis. And it's a tale of time travel told in a very different manner. Adapted from the short movie Jetee, this one really tackles the character of Cole, who in a futuristic world is sent back to try and discover what kind of virus was unleashed so that they can create a cure and save themselves in the future. And that's one of the things that I really latched onto about this one the first time I saw it, and watching it again, was the idea behind it. It's not a man sent back to stop something from happening. You can't. It's happened. That's just the way it is. They've sent them back on a fact-finding mission to figure out information so they hopefully can get a cure in the future and stop people from dying from this and maybe reclaim the earth some way, shape or form. It's an interesting idea and a little bit unusual, because normally the lead man would be the hero out to save the world, but not so in this one. We have Bruce Willis's character of Cole, who's sent back in time and ends up 6 years earlier than he should have, and ends up in a mental hospital. His doctor is Madeleine Stowe, and he is in this facility along with the over-the-top crazy and crazy-eyed Brad Pitt, who is wonderfully agitative all the way through the movie, twitching, pointing, overly elaborate with his body language, and just wonderful. And we see Cole go back and forward to the future as he's haphazardly pulled back and forth, having to debrief his information as his grasp on sanity slowly starts to dissipate, as he is struggling to figure out what is real. Is the future a figment of his imagination? Is he really insane? Is the current day, is that real? Is he really back to do this mission? Is it all in his head? And it's that wonderful idea that I really latch onto in here, the kind of playful nature. Unfortunately, we really know the answer to this, but it's nice to see it kind of played with, toyed with for a little bit of time. I think the performances are absolutely fantastic in here. I think Brad Pitt is amazing. Bruce Willis gives a tremendous performance. Unlike anything else I think he'd done or has done since in this, he's fully engaged, he's giving it 110%, and he really portrays this man who is can be extremely violent, who is on the edge of sanity, who is struggling with the reality of what's going on, whose brain, mind is being fractured by this constant time travel and this grandiose idea of he wants to just settle into this world, he's never seen anything like it, and enjoy it, but he has a purpose and has to get to that purpose sooner rather than later. It's got countless wonderful set pieces and ideas. The future world is kind of run down, mechanical, has an industrial feel about it, and it's wonderfully tactile. I loved this idea of this broken future. I think the three characters at the heart of it are all perfect as well. You get Madeleine Stowe, who is the sort of voice of reason in this movie, the kind of solid character, the only one that's on sure footing, and the only one who believes that everything she knows is factually correct. But she turns out to be the only character who is wrong. You know, she is going with the science, she's going with the facts, but she won't open herself up to the possibility that this guy is actually telling the truth, because it's so fantastical, until she has that turning point in a fantastic scene. There is also the main antagonist of the movie, the person who's going to unleash this virus and cause everything, which is almost treated like a side plot. This would be the main driving force of any other movie, and it's there in the background, but we don't really follow that character too many times. They kind of touch a few points, and that is all. I think 12 Monkeys is a tremendous, fantastic movie that came out in the mid-90s that doesn't belong in the studio system, that elevates above it, and it has great performances with a great tale. The production design and the early CG that it uses is to wonderful effect. I think it's a great story that's rewatchable, and it doesn't give you a downer of an ending. It gives you an ending of there is possible hope, but our character's tale is most definitely over. I really like 12 Monkeys. And watching this again, I finally went back and watched The Hamster Factor, the making of of this one, and it is essential viewing for anybody who wants to check it out. Gilliam, going back into the studio system, was so wary about what they would do. He wanted to document everything in case he had to tell all at some point. And it's just a great insight, feature length, touching on all the production points and things that could have went wrong, but somehow made it through to be a successful movie. The Arrow release of 12 Monkeys is a stunning transfer as always. It's a movie I'm going to highly recommend if you haven't seen it. I love time travel movies. It's one of my favourite. And there we have it. I'd love to know your thoughts on 12 Monkeys. Let me know in the comment box below. And I'll see you next time on Man v Film.